This is going to be more of a follow-up video to the review I did on the new Hornby Restaurant buffet car the other day. Luckily, the Hornby and the Bachmann buffet restaurant cars went together using the Bachmann pipe coupling. Once the two coaches were coupled to each other, the gap between them was very respectable. However, the set of coaches that they were sandwiched between were Hornby Mark II D stock, which is basically the Airfix coaches from the 1970s. Well, the gap that is between those coaches when they're coupled together isn't so much a gap as a chasm. So in this hopefully quite short video, I'm going to try and rectify that. Now, I know a lot of you will probably know how to do this already, but as I was saying to somebody just yesterday, if this video helps just one person, it's worth it. This is probably one of the easiest fixes that you'll ever find. 40 thou piece of plastic card cut into 6mm strips with 2 holes in each end. The measurements for this one and the other 2 couplings that we're going to build today are on a plain piece of paper, and they'll be right at the very end of the video that you can screenshot and use for your own uses. One useful thing to note is though, don't score these pieces of plastic. You just mark out using a pencil. Score lines make it brittle and easy to snap. You might find there's a bit of a burr on the edges as well. That needs to be filed off so that it moves freely within the housing. Coupled together, that's a very reasonable gap between the coaches, and it even goes around second radius curves. That was the easy one. Now let's try something a little more difficult, and this is probably where anybody that's got a 3D printer will start laughing at me. This is the bogey of the new Hornby Restaurant buffet, and as you can see, it's got a NEM pocket attached to the bogey. So we're going to take a short cranked coupling and attach it to a modified bar coupling that we've already made. After removing the metal hook, you have to file flat the little flange at the end. That needs to be dead flat. Then we'll take one of the bar couplings that we made earlier and we'll chop it so that it's 22mm from the cut to the centre of one of the holes. We'll take an offcut of 30 thou plastic card and fill the coupling hole, and then we're literally going to glue it together and create a sandwich. Flip it over and then glue 2 small pieces and create the opposite crust of the sandwich. Now remember, this is the Hornby buffet to the Hornby Mark IIs, and you need a short cranked coupling for this to work. I told you those with a 3D printer would probably be laughing at me. Well, I'll be laughing now because this has cost me less than 10 pence to make. Just for a little bit of insurance, I did use a little bit of araldite on the edges. Now let's get them attached and see what sort of gap we've got. Yeah, that's not bad. Pleased with that, very pleased with that. Now the last one we're going to do today is coupling the Hornby Mark II Ds to a Bachmann Mark I coach. Now it's essentially the same as the last one we did, except we need a straight coupling this time. Again, this one might be a little bit more difficult because there's nothing to butt up against, so we have to do a little score line on the coupling, which is 2mm from the shoulder, and that's where we put our bar coupling up to. This one's easy to get wrong when you install it as well. The bar coupling that we've glued on needs to be on the underneath side, and 23mm from the shoulder to the centre of the hole. As I said earlier, the dimensions and measurements are all on this piece of paper here. You can download it or screenshot it and use it for as long as you like. I would have attached it to this episode as a PDF, but I'm not sure how to do that. Some of you may have seen this photograph that I took while I was filming this episode of the spiders that the engine collected through all the tunnels, because I haven't run any trains for some time. I've got a similar video to this one in the making, which will link them together quite nicely. See what I did there? I'll get my coat. Thanks for watching. See you next time.